Hey guys, today we are looking at simplifying exponents and combining them in different ways. And this probably will look very familiar to you because you probably did some of this in Algebra 1. So when you multiply two numbers with an exponent, if they have the same base, so this one just has a base of a to the m power times a to the n power, we add the exponents. That looks like a to the m plus n. When you divide, we subtract. So a to the m minus n. When we're raising a power to a power, we multiply. So that's a to the m times n. Anything to the 0 power, hopefully you recall, is just 1. If you're not sure, try plugging that in your calculator. A to the negative m power. Anytime you see that negative number, we know that we could rewrite that as 1 over a to the positive m power. And then when we have two bases taken to the same exponent, it's kind of like distributing. We're going to take the m and raise it up for the power of each of those. Same thing when you're dividing. It can go to the a and the b separately, and those will help in simplifying. So let's do some practice with these. Make sure you have these rules handy as we're going through some of these practice problems. So I have 3 to the 4th to the 2nd power. Since I'm taking a power to a power, I'm going to multiply. So 4 times 2 is 3 to the 8th. If that's all it's asking you to do, you don't need to do 3 to the 8th, but that's something you could do in your calculator. This one is telling you to take the 3 to each of these. So 5 to the 3rd and 8 to the 3rd. And then on our last one, on part C, we have a negative 3 power. So the first thing I'm going to do is put 1 over, and then it's still a negative 2, but it's a positive 3 exponent on the bottom. So this one we could go ahead and multiply out. This is something you could do in your head. So negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 is a negative 8. So negative 1/8 would be the answer there. All right, getting a little more challenging here, adding a little more to this. So a to the 2nd to the 3rd. We're going to multiply, so a to the 6th over b to the negative 3 to the 3rd. So negative 3 times 3 is b to the negative 9. That negative, though, we want to make it into a positive. If it's already in the denominator, we're going to be able to raise it up into the numerator to make it a positive. So a to the 6th, b to the positive 9. And then we have negative y squared times y to the negative 12. So I'm going to just leave that negative out front, but I have 2, 2, and negative 12. And since they're multiplying, I'm adding those exponents. So 2 plus 2 gives me 4, plus negative 12 is a negative 8. So then that negative 8 tells me that I need to bring it down into the denominator to make it positive. And then I still have that negative hanging out front. You can put it with the negative 1, you can put it with the y, or you can put it with the 1 or the y. It doesn't matter, or you can just put it right in the middle there. Just one negative out there. All right, and then on part C, be careful because that squared is only going to the s. It's not going to the r. So I'm going to leave the numerator alone for the moment. Over, I'm going to go ahead and distribute that 3 out. So I have r to the 3rd, and then I have s to the negative 3. From there, I'm going to divide those pieces. So this is really r to the 1st. So I have 1 minus 3 is r to the negative 2. And then I have 2 minus a negative 3, which would be s to the 5th. then that -2 tells me the s to the 5th can stay up top, but r to the 2nd needs to move to the bottom. And a lot of these you can do in a different order and you're going to end up with the same answer. So the order isn't as important. Like back on A, we could have moved that b to the top first and made it b to the 3rd and then multiplied, we still would have gotten b to the 9th. Same thing here. You could have taken care of that -1 when you turned it into a -3. We could have gone ahead and moved it up to the top, and then we would have added exponents. You still would have ended up with s to the 5th. If you have not paused yet and tried these on your own, now would be a great time to do it as they're getting a little more complex. And then come back and check and see if you get the same thing I do. So a to the 2nd to the 3rd power, power to a power, I'm multiplying, so I get a to the 6th. And I have b to the 1st to the 3rd, so I get b to the 3rd. Then I have a to the -1 to the 3rd, so that's a to the -3. And then I have b to the 15th. Again, I'm going to subtract, so 6 minus -3 is a to the +9. And I have 3 minus 15 is b to the -12. I need to get rid of those negatives in the exponent, so I have a to the +9 can stay up top. B to the 12th moves to the bottom. All right, on E, I see a lot of students try to cross multiply here. That only works when we have an equal sign between those two fraction bars. We have a time sign, which means we're going to multiply across the top and multiply across the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and multiply and then simplify everything. You may simplify and then decide to multiply, whatever is easiest for you. But I'm going to go ahead and put everything together. So I have 20 x to the 14th, y to the 10th, over 2x to the 3rd. Oops. I have another x down there on the other side. So x to the 3rd and x to the 1st. That gives me x to the 4th. And then I have y to the 6th. Now, when I divide, my numbers still get treated the same. So I'm not doing 20 minus 2. I still have 20 divided by 2, which is 10. And then I have 14 minus 4, so I have x to the 10th. And I have 10 minus 6 is y to the 4th. And that's my final answer there. All right, so I'm going to take each of these to the -2 power. So I have 4 to the -2. And then I have x squared to the -2, so x to the -4. Y to the 5th to the -2, so y to the -10. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put all of this over 1. So I have 1 over 4 squared, x to the 4th, y to the 10th. So I have 1 over 16 x to the 4th, y to the 10th, if I go ahead and simplify that. All right, that's all I have for today. So if you have questions, feel free to come in and see me. Otherwise, I'll see you in class.